Welcome to the short answer. It is my great pleasure to be with you always. And when we get to dive in here from all over the world for our short answer, it is a most amazing moment. We have people from 85 countries, at least, plus maybe, that are joining us from all walks of life and all languages and all different cultural orientations. And I am so thrilled that this is possible, that this is the case. And who would have thought that a pandemic would bring people together in such ways that it has? And it is by divine design that that is unfolding, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. We're going to talk about what it is that's actually happening on the planet right now and how we can help to embrace and steward our lives in alignment with that. And as such, we begin to become empowered by the circumstances that are before us, rather than feeling overwhelmed by them or resistant to them or suppressed because of them. Something different starts to unfold in our lives, which is what was intended in the first place. We were intended to be living in accordance with nature, in accordance with what ebbed and tide, what flowed and what did not, and to have a sense of that and to allow that to be our way of being in collaboration with the greatest presence on the planet. And that is Mother Nature, Mother Divine, Mother Gaia, the Divine Feminine. It is what is, and that's what we want to connect with. You know, I have the opportunity of teaching coursework in so many different arenas, from the 3 different schools of Mortar Institute. The School of Bioenergetics, where we are learning to work hands-on with people. We're learning to work remotely, healing people, and we're learning how to facilitate the process of spiritual integration, truly spirit coming into form fully and wholly. We also, in the School of BodyAwake Yoga, are teaching people how to come onto the mat and how to come off of the mat with the same awarenesses that we're cultivating on the mat about who we really are and what's really happening, and anchoring our consciousness in the core of the body. And so I'm going to invite you to join us tomorrow morning for free Body Awake yoga. Actually, it's not free yoga anymore. It has been for months, but we have the yoga membership now that you can have access to all the free classes that we taught over the months when we first came in with the pandemic, and we have archived all of those for you. So you can not only participate with us live twice a month, but you can also go in and repeat and rinse and repeat and restore yourselves in such a beautiful way. We also have a yoga teacher training that is coming up, and if you don't want to necessarily be a yoga teacher, but you want to learn the intricacies of each yoga position and what it's doing to the high brain centers and how it is stacking up enough momentum to pierce the primitive brain, and how we are reestablishing the subconscious memory stored at the cerebellar level, and how we can change the amygdala and the hippocampus and how they hijack us into knee-jerk reactions in life, and how we can address that by coming to the yoga mat. And then you can join us in this course and take it just for personal development. There's a track that we designed just for you. If you're already a yoga teacher, or you're interested in becoming a yoga teacher, or you are just interested in learning about it for your personal development, we are a registered BodyAwake School of Yoga. We are a registered yoga school, a 200-hour course for RYT with Yoga Alliance. And so you can become literally a certified yoga teacher that you can go into yoga studios and do your thing. All right? So that's pretty fun. And we also have the 3rd school in Mortar Institute, which is the School for Consciousness Development, which is what the Energy Codes coursework, foundational coursework, is all about. Springing then out of that, once you take some of those foundational courses, you can attend all of my advanced classes that I teach that are profoundly integrating sacred sites and ancient wisdoms and modern science, and how to implement that into your own system in a way to change your life, your way of being, how you see the world. And there's never been a better time for us to enhance our capacities along those lines. In fact, I offer a free healing transmission, which is next week on February 25th at 8:30 p.m. The monthly healing transmission. You'll find the link beneath in our comments area that will allow you to just come and receive and to be supported in this most amazing time. And the reason for my wanting to deliver this monthly healing transmission is not because we need to be healed, but because we need to learn that there's nothing broken, that there's nothing wrong, and that there is nothing missing. And that I want to immerse you at the cellular level and at the subtle body anatomy level, the energy fields integrating all the while of the vibrational frequency of the highest self, your most divine presence. Because when your cells remember that vibration, they start behaving in accordance with it, and they start signaling and creating chemistries that allow for you to be supported as if life is in your favor, because it is. And so as I share all these things with you, and I'm thrilled for the pandemic in that it has allowed me to connect with people so much more frequently and so much more regularly in so many more topics. And so I just want to invite you to join in, because there is a disposition that I am truly trying to cultivate in our conscious community that is your true disposition. It is meant to be for you, that you are living a life that is in flow. We're going to speak in just a couple of seconds about release and flow as a way of living. And I want you to recognize that it is available to you and that there is nothing that you cannot let go of. And as you do, I want you to understand what happens to it when you let go of it, if you let go of it in an effective manner. So we're headed into that. But first I just want to check my little list here, because I was supposed to mention some things to you, and I want to make sure that I hit upon the ones that the team, the village people, put together for you to make sure that you're made aware. Something in addition to that I wanted to share with you, that we're going to start publishing, which we used to publish all the time when we were getting on airplanes and traveling to different cities and doing this work all over the world. We would always post a calendar of upcoming events and have it readily available at a glance that you could find it. So watch for that. It'll be coming out, and it'll be accessible for you to just see at a glance what's coming up that you might want to be participating in. We're trying to make that convenient for you again, something that just got dropped when the suitcases weren't being packed and unpacked and headed down another airport concourse and talking to the team along the way on the phone to try to get everything in order. As we turned on a dime and had to reinvent ourselves to be able to connect with you, that was one thing that just kind of just disappeared. So we found it. We're bringing it back for you. Lastly, I want to mention that we do have an Energy Codes of Manifesting and an Energy Codes Level 1 coming up. That's a Friday and then a Saturday and Sunday. And if you sign up for the Level 1 course, you get the Manifesting Day complimentary. It comes with that whole thing because we want you to get exposed to all of the information. So if you're interested in manifesting a different life or a different way of feeling about the life that you're having, then this one-day workshop, the Energy Codes of Manifesting, is for you. It isn't about getting a better car, a better house, or that kind of thing, although that will happen definitely as a byproduct of the efforts that you will make to come to know the soulful self. For the truth of you is not the mind. The truth of you is the soul, and you have a mind, and you have a body. And your job is to glean all that you can by bringing them back together again, letting them merge and meld together and serve the soul, serve the true you. So essentially, your life is about training your mind to find the real you, and then discovering everything that you are capable of accomplishing, doing, experiencing, creating, and sharing in the world. Now, I think that's everything on my list, so I'm going to let go, I'm going to release and let go and let flow, so that we can dive into our topic of meaning this evening, and that is about releasing and flowing. And I'd like for you to understand that you, by design, are a flow. You are a river, a stream that is streaming. You are not a static self. And every time you try to hold on to things or control things so that your environment and the people and the places and the circumstances can support you being the you that you think you are, every time you set in motion some effort to make that so, it actually dupes you. It takes you out of the flow and out of the stream and out of your own divinity. It takes you out of what science is begging us to understand, to just embrace and to accept, and that is that we are 100% creating our reality. We are creating our life experience. And if we think that someone else is keeping us from having the life experience that we want to be having, then we are completely off of point. We are out of the stream. It's like the fish out of water. We're flopping around on the bank, and that is why we are in pain. So what I'm going to invite you to do today is to think about, what would it feel like in my body if I were not clutching on to how I think someone should operate in order for me to be safe and feel loved and be okay in the world? What would it feel like in my body if I let go of that? Now, those of you that are in the coursework, you already know that the easiest way for you to let go of something is to have a hold of something else. But now I'm telling you, you're not supposed to have a hold of anything. So now what do I do? Huh? So here's what you do. You want to land in the core of your body. And inside of the coursework, you learn about the 4 anchor points in which we stabilize and steady ourselves with Mula Bandha and squeezing the blades together and dropping them down, and learning how to position the eyes that you can feel that, and to breathe in a constricted manner periodically through the throat so that you can find yourself in this elevator shaft in the core of your being. Because when you can find yourself there and literally walk around and talk and engage while being anchored in the core of the body and being aware of it, when that begins to happen in your life, you begin to change. You are not subconsciously seeking someone or something to give you buoyancy or to tether you in some way or to cause you to feel more stable. You are stable inside of this vessel that you are creating. You are dropping into the earth, rising up again, and flowing around and around and around, and cycling and recycling and recycling. And there is constantly more energy pouring in and hitting the earth and rising up and recycling and recycling. And you are to climb inside of that with your awareness and be thrilled to be in there and to be masterful at staying in there. Because when you do, and when you become masterful at that, people can be as wobbly as they need to be. They can be as apathetic or as haphazard. They can be kind of only showing up 50% or 75% to how they could be showing up in life. And it doesn't cause you to migrate into that energy. You can stay collected and stay connected and continue to be this flow that is robust and fueled and vital and alive and awake and flourishing in your dreams and your desires and your impressions and your intuitions and what it is that you would like to have manifest in your life, what the life experience that you would love to have. So how do we do this? How do we let go? How do we release and flow? So picture yourself as if you're hanging on to something, right? And this waterfall is flowing down through you and hitting the earth and rising up, and it's trying to carry you into a higher and higher and higher realm, a higher and higher and higher way of perceiving life, of looking down upon your life from the bird's eye view and not getting caught up in the struggle. That's what the system is always attempting to do. But as long as you're holding on to something, you might be holding on to it right here. But as that waterfall continues to flow down through your system, hit the earth and rise up, it's constantly trying to make you more buoyant. Because high-frequency energy is dropping into this vessel that you have created, and it is trying to lift your consciousness and your life experience along with it. That's the point. That's what we're doing here. We're landing in a body, and then we're elevating our consciousness. We're ascending our awareness into a state of being that is higher. And the higher doesn't mean better than in some pious position. It's not like that. It's literally climbing up the ladder a little taller so that you can look and see, oh my gosh, look what I do. Look at how that happens. Look how I give my power away. Look how I discredit myself and dupe myself all the time. I'm just going to gather that energy back, and inside my body it's going to feel like I'm drawing it back here and breathing in my belly, and I'm remembering this connection and this design that I truly am made of. And when I do that, as I do that, I start to elevate. My vibration increases. So I might have been hanging on up here, and now I'm up here in it. And now I'm hanging on but it's down here. I'm elevating even higher. Now, eventually, it would be so much lower than where I really am that I'm holding on to things that if you have a sense of self that is unconditional, and you can, by anchoring in the core of the body and breathing up and down the central channel the way that I'm teaching in the coursework, join me in the Energy Codes of Manifesting in the Level 1 course, which is coming up February 26th, 27th, and 28th. Just join me there if you haven't been in that. Alumni, if you've been in there and you're part of the alumni program, just come back and join because it promises to be a profound example of what manifesting in Level 1 can be because of what we're in right now. So, if you're holding on to something and your system is trying to become more buoyant, but what actually used to be a hands up is an anchor that's dragging behind you. And so we have to release and let go. So it is different than letting go when it was up here, when we were holding on and just trying to learn and trying to make it in this world. So what we're doing inside of this work is showing you how to build a vessel that doesn't have a hole in your bucket, and it can build and build and build and build the energies so that you begin to elevate. Because the more you elevate, the more you can pierce through the primitive brain and illuminate these high brain centers and have the vantage point of an ascended one, an ascended master in your own life experience. It is quite possible to do this. I know because I've been working with beautiful people in the Energy Codes community for many, many years. And some of these people are the most pristine individuals you would ever hope to meet. And it is in part because of the refinement and the awareness that they have cultivated of the greatness of their being. They've become aware of who they are, and they accept it. And because they accept it and embrace it and merge with it, they are in the flow. They are not attaching to ideas and deciding that these circumstances have to be a certain way in order for them to be okay. They're embracing what is happening because every single thing that is happening is trying to enrich our lives, including the pandemic, being sent home, sit down and be with yourself, and including all the isolation and the crazy stuff that starts to happen when you don't get to do all the things that you want to do, and joy doesn't seem to be being delivered to you from the outside world that we're so used to. And we're being drawn and called to find and access a deeper sense of joy and allow it to come up and come out of us. Now, on the way into that deep joy, you might experience some rumble and some friction, and it might feel horrible, and it might feel isolated, and it might feel to you like, enough already, I can't take this anymore. If in that moment you will just dive in and start breathing in your belly and embrace, by embracing the feeling that you're feeling, you're actually releasing it. Now, there's a front side of the model quantum flip idea, but it's very, very real. By embracing it, it becomes part of you instead of separate from you, something to resist, something to push away from. It is no longer that. Now it becomes an integral part of who you are. So if you can release your idea that this feeling is bad, you will be in flow in an instant. Because when you embrace those senses, those feelings and sensations that you previously would have resisted, when you embrace them, and life is certainly handing you so much opportunity to do exactly that, when you do that, you become enhanced by the energies that were encapsulated in this enemy, this feeling you didn't want to feel. You free those energies up to be redefined by you. You get to move them into your system, and they start to become powerful groundedness. And inside of that deep-seated groundedness, you return to the flow. You return to who and what you are truly intended to be. So, just know that you are here to let go of the outside world, as if the outside world is bigger, more powerful than you. That is not the truth. The truth of the matter is, you are the energy that every single circumstance is made of. And you are here to learn how to steward that energy. We're going to be discussing this in a deeper fashion in the masterclass following this. If you could click on the link in the chat, you can find your way over to joining us in the masterclass and learning some techniques and learning how to be present with what is happening in our lives. Because releasing and returning to the flowing stream that we truly are is what allows us to elevate and elevate and elevate and elevate to the degree that we can then drop into a bird's eye view on life and be masterful at this life experience. So, it is my joy to be with you always. I look forward to connecting with you in 10 minutes. We're going to be starting at 7:30 Eastern Time. We'll go to 8:30 Eastern Time in the masterclass, where you get to ask questions and we get to see how all of those questions tie together. Because there is only one thing happening here, and it is good, it is in your favor, and it is your true self trying to show your personality a better way of living, heaven and earth. Okay? Much love to you all. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in just a few moments in the masterclass. Namaste.